Hey you, it's Elizabeth, the Minister of Beauty, and I share the Bible that's business inspiration, beauty, life, and enjoyment. If you're new to the channel, you can go ahead and subscribe. I appreciate you being here. And if you are not new here, thank you so much for coming back. To find out more about me, you can go to the links in the description box where I have my websites, but just to let you know, I am a licensed esthetician, a beauty business owner and operator, as well as a skincare line creator, and I have all of that info in the description box. But I wanted to talk about something and share this story. This is nothing new, but this actually is a story that I saw several months ago, and I'm just getting a chance to talk about it now. But I'm going to share this video. This is about a nail salon where they had a situation. You will see the video and then I'll get back to you to share my thoughts on what I think about situations like this even happening and what you need to do about it.
We often hear stories about tangible theft, people who steal from convenience stores, get goods. They also walk out of malls without paying for merchandise. What separates these crimes from those is really just how personal these services are. So some people are now being caught with taking advantage of someone's day, several hours of their workday, only for them to say that they don't want to pay for their labor once it is all said and done. Seen this video before? I bet. It has more than 13 million views on TikTok. Open the door. The video is being shot from the inside of Perfect Nails and Spa in Federal Way. The woman who shot the video is Leslie, a nail technician.
Yelled in and knocked the door, and you can see in the video, the kid and her mom tried to destroy the door.
Leslie asked us not to show her face for this interview to protect her privacy. She says on the night of December 13th, her last customer asked for a manicure.
But she didn't say anything until finish. When I finished, she say she don't like the color. She say she don't get what she asked for the nail.
Leslie says she explained to the young woman the design she presented would look slightly different as she has shorter nails.
And she said she don't want to pay. I said, okay, if you don't pay, I have to call the police. Come in. She said, okay, just call the police. Come in. But she don't want to pay.
As Leslie called for police, the teenager called her mom.
Her mom coming in front. But I locked the door before the mom come in.
Leslie told them if she paid the $63 that she owed, she'd unlock the door. But the teenager still refused payment, and Leslie says she didn't seem to care that police were on their way.
She talked with her boyfriend, she put a lipstick on, she said she didn't feel ashamed for herself what she did to me at all.
Police came and advised Leslie she shouldn't lock people in. However, Leslie said weeks prior to this incident, she was scammed out of 2 more services. She says these 2 teenagers came in for full sets, then said their mom was on their way to pay the $150 bill.
What they call somebody, I think they call somebody say, my mom coming already. We have to go out and take the money. Okay, I say, okay, you can go. And then they run and they laugh at us.
Leslie tells us she is a single mom of 2 young boys and works hard to give them a good life. Not only does she want to warn other salons, she wants people to be held accountable.
I want people to know that we work hard to raise the kids, to do the business plan. We work very hard for that, so I don't want everybody come in and take advantage from us. Yeah.
We did talk with the Federal Way Police Department today. They did say that they regularly get reports for refusal to pay. Now, the incident with the 2 girls who ran out, that case has been brought to the King County Juvenile Prosecutor's Office. That will determine any charges, if any. And one of the top comments on Leslie's post is why nail salons don't ask for payment up front. She told us that as a nail tech, traditionally, that's not how they do it, so it doesn't feel right to ask for that payment up front. However, if this behavior does continue and it happens again, they are going to have to change the way that they do business. In Federal Way, I'm Nikki Torres, Fox 13 News.
All right, so you saw the video. So basically, a nail salon, service to client. The client claimed they didn't like the service, refused to pay. And some people may say the way the nail technician went about handling the situation may not have been ideal. And I would say that I agree, but sometimes people aren't really thinking when situations like that happening, because it's not something that they are expecting, but because they put all of that time and effort into doing the service, they want their money. So locking someone in a business that refuses to pay, I wouldn't say that is a smart thing to do, because you just don't know how that person is going to respond. And I would say, luckily for the nail technician, this person wasn't violent. And she, of course, she did call the police, and the police were en route. So she wanted to have the person just being retained in the building until the police arrive. But you really can't do things like that. You're not supposed to, even though it's not okay for someone to steal. But I just don't think that that's a smart way to go about doing things. But like you heard the news reporter say, why wouldn't you just request the payment up front moving forward if you've had situations like this happen in the past? What I would assume is, even if they have happened in the past, it's probably not the majority. It's definitely the minority. And what I would say to that is, most businesses have had to put things in place to address the minority versus the majority. And when I say the minority, I'm not talking about anyone's ethnicity, okay? I get that term is used in those references, but that's not what I mean by that. But what I mean by that is, the minority is the people who are not honest, the people who do steal, the people who have no intention on coming into a business to get goods or services and pay for them. And they know from the moment they either step into the place or before they even got there, they came with the intention to not pay. Because even people who have gotten services that they did not really care for, they would pay for the service, and then they would just go online, leave a bad review, or maybe even request a refund or something along those lines from that same business. So there's a way for people to handle things if they don't get the goods that they were paying for and it wasn't up to par. You can go in and you can return and get a refund, or the services didn't come out the way that you thought they would. You can request a refund. You can request something along those lines. And then, like a lot of people do these days, they'll go online and leave a negative review. So addressing the minority, meaning the majority would have to pretty much pay for what the minority does that's not good. That happens all the time. Stores have had to put security measures in place, not because the majority of people steal, but to address the minority of those that do. So they've put measures in place to address these situations, and it's not fair to the majority of the people, but they have to do what they have to do to protect their businesses and their brands. So for this nail salon, and not just for this nail salon, because I'm not talking about this just for this nail salon, but I'm talking about this for anyone else in business, especially those who are in businesses where you are serving. You may have to put something in place where maybe they're not paying for the full service up front, but they have to pay a deposit. So you have that deposit in place. Once the service is complete, then they pay for the remainder. And I think that's fair for everyone, because there are some people that are going to have it as an issue if they've gone all these years without having to pay for the service up front, and then all of a sudden the business is requiring full payment before the service is due. I will even say myself, as a business owner, I have scheduled hair services with a business where when I would go online to schedule the appointment, it would request the full payment up front. And even though the money wasn't an issue for me, I didn't really feel comfortable doing that, because what if I had to cancel? What if the service provider had to cancel or reschedule on me at the last minute? And I've had it happen. So I just didn't really want to do that. So I would prefer a business where they would request a deposit versus the full payment up front. And myself, having a beauty business where we provide services, we also sell products too, but providing services, we would have a deposit or a card on file depending on the situation and the scenario. But this is to cover the business for those that may not do the right thing, or they may not show up, and different things like that. Because once a time is blocked out and that time is completely booked, no one else is able to take that time slot. So it's only fair and it's only right if a deposit is paid or if a card is placed on file to hold that appointment, and the card is authorized but it's not charged up front. And then for the people who have been coming in regularly, we're not going to charge them up front or even a deposit, because they're always coming, and we know that if something happens, they're going to let us know because we've built that type of relationship already. But if you have a business where you have high traffic and you don't know these people, you have to do what you have to do. So saying, well, the service isn't charged for upfront because this is the norm in the industry. Sometimes norms, they have to be addressed and they have to be audited and edited. So if you have these situations where you have people that have come into the business, have gotten services provided for them, and then they duck out and they don't pay, then I'm sorry, majority, we have to edit some things. So now we are requiring a deposit up front. And with nail services, I've never been a nail technician, and as you can see, I don't normally get my nails done. So maybe they would have to do something where at a certain step before the completion, they are at that point taking the payment for the remainder of the service. For the remainder of the price of the service, because the deposit was already taken, and then completing the service versus going through everything. And then once everything is complete, then that person might have the opportunity to leave the business and not pay for the service. I have a small business, okay? Even though the small business is extremely successful, I have a small business. And in the many years that I have been in business, I can count on one hand the times that myself or another service provider in my business has had a situation like that happen. But trust and believe, it definitely has happened. And I've had to address some things differently. And I can't remember each situation because, like I said, it's been many years and I can count on one hand the time something like that has happened. But it happens because there are people out here in this world that want something for nothing. So we may have had a situation where someone got a service done, claimed they loved it, and then later on they wanted to complain because they wanted a refund. So basically they were wanting a free service, because we have it on the website as well as when we are working with the individual directly. We are asking them, what do they think? Is there anything that they need to address? Is there any issue or anything that we could change or edit while they're there? And then we would also do a follow-up. If they don't say anything during that time, and then several days or maybe even several weeks later, there's an issue, then what we know is that usually means there is a money issue and you really just need that cash, or you were being dishonest from the beginning and you really knew that you just wanted to get the service done and you didn't want to pay for it. So we've had situations like that happen where we have had also a person that would get the service done, claim they're happy with it, and then later on they will do a chargeback to their credit card or debit card and claim that this was an unauthorized charge, which we don't keep cards on file. The system that we use, we don't even as a business have access to these clients' cards information. So in order for the card to be put on file, they would have had to manually do it themselves when they schedule the appointment via the appointment link. So we never touch anything. We never take their card information. So because we have that type of system, if someone were to do a chargeback and file for a fraudulent claim of some sort, then the business responds to it and then we win the claim in the end. But it's a headache because people do try it sometimes. As well as you may have someone that will say, oh, I left my handbag or wallet or whatever in my car. Let me go out there and get it. and a rookie or a newbie working in the business fell for that, allow the person to leave, and then they never came back in the business. They drove away. I'm telling you, people will try things like this. It's absolutely dishonest, but people are dishonest. Some people, dishonesty exists within them. So they will try different things in order to get over and to get things for free or something for nothing. So with that being said, you may have a business where you didn't do things a certain way before, but because of situations that have happened, then you have to implement changes to your systems and some of the structures and things. And if it's offensive to a certain group, then I would say that that certain group needs to go elsewhere. It's not the type of client or customers that you really would want to have for your business, because if you're explaining it, even if they have a question about it, if you explain it, then it shouldn't really be an issue, especially if they have every intention on paying for the services that they get done within your business anyway. So if you feel that it's going to be offensive to a certain few, trust and believe they will just leave and not come back, and more will come. I just look at it in this way. Those that leave, they make room for growth. They make room for greater and better to come to patronize your business. That has been my story over the years. I'm grateful for every opportunity and every person that I, either myself individually or any one of the team members that I've had working in my business over the years, have had the opportunity to work with. But not everyone is going to be for you forever. People come and go. So you have to do things that are going to be beneficial for your business and not just beneficial for the feelings of a few that would find it offensive, that you have to do what you have to do for the sake of your business's bottom line. So should nail salons and other service-based businesses charge for their services up front when that's not the norm? I would say not charging fully up front, but definitely charging a deposit or keeping a card on file through some system so that it keeps everyone accountable. And if there are going to be a few that are not going to be okay with it, then you have to be okay with allowing them to leave and going to patronize another business that will possibly work the way that they want them to work. But you have to do what's going to be the most beneficial for your business, and not just for the sake of a few people's feelings that find it offensive that you have to start charging a deposit, or you have to raise your prices somewhat to cover costs and cover, things, losses where you've had services stolen and different things like that. And it's really funny to me when you think about it. If you go to a fast food restaurant or any type of restaurant like that, you're paying for your products before you receive them. But when you go to a sit-down restaurant, you're not paying for your food up front because you're being served. So service, typically you're not paying for it up front, but when you're paying for a product, which is typically what you're doing, even though fast food restaurants, someone is doing a service to get you that product, it's not really the same. So I would say for a service, you should not charge upfront, but I don't think there's anything wrong with getting a deposit or having a card on file to keep everyone accountable. And if that person has to cancel their appointment or something, happens, then you don't charge their card. But if they don't show up and they don't give you a fair chance to let you know that they're not going to be able to make it, then you can charge their card a percentage. I wouldn't charge the full amount because, again, that's not fair, but just charging a portion, a percentage, whatever you feel like is going to be fair, so that it will compensate you for the time that you have blocked out for that service and that person didn't show up and didn't give you the courtesy of letting you know that they weren't going to be able to make it. So I think that's a fair way of doing it. I would definitely recommend this nail salon and any other business that operates in that way to start taking deposits from new clients. And then, of course, for those that you already have a relationship with, that you've been servicing over and over, You don't even bother with that. I have clients that are still coming to my business to this day that have been coming since 2009, 2010, 2011. Here we are in 2024. I would never charge them up front. I would never charge them a deposit. We have that relationship that we've built in. And I'm not saying that it has to take that long for it to get to that point, but I'm just basically saying from all of the years of experience that I have had working with clients and providing services, I would not recommend charging for the services up front, but I definitely believe with situations like that, you have to be okay with making changes, making edits, and also letting the clients and customers know, and also be okay with knowing that not everyone is going to be okay with that and they're not going to continue to patronize your business. But like I said, those that leave, they leave room for growth for more people to come to be able to grace your business. So let me know your thoughts. I appreciate you all being here. Thank you for liking and subscribing. I am Elizabeth, the Minister of Beauty, and I share the Bible. That's business inspiration, beauty, life, and enjoyment. So until the next time, I hope you have an amazingly blessed and beautiful day.